Hello everybody, and I'm delighted to be joining you from the heart of the European Parliament here in Strasbourg for your forum on corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility has become a key pillar of European Union policy over the last number of years. It's very important in terms of reputation, access to finance, alignment with EU best practices, and consequently opportunities to reach our EU markets, engage in partnerships and supply chains, all very important. We know that the actions of companies and businesses have huge impact on the lives of citizens in the EU and around the world, not just in terms of the products and services they offer or the jobs and opportunities they create, but also in terms of working conditions, human rights, health, the environment, innovation, education and training, a long list. But for this reason, EU citizens rightly expect that companies understand that obviously they're positive, but also potentially negative impacts on society and the environment. And therefore, to prevent and manage and indeed mitigate any negative impact that they may cause, including with their global supply chain. The European Commission has defined CSR as the responsibility of enterprises for their impact on society, and therefore it should of course be company-led. Companies can become socially responsible by integrating social, environmental, ethical, consumer and human rights concerns into their business strategy and operations. This is not just a buzzword, CSR. It's a fundamental principle, increasingly important, that shapes the values and actions of businesses across our continent. It isn't really a choice. It is actually a collective imperative. And especially in an era defined by global challenges and indeed societal expectations, the EU's position on CSR exerts to influence the course of corporate behaviour and, of course, by extension, the well-being of you and our citizens and the planet. I would say that here in the EU, we're moving towards stronger and stronger compliance of CSR. Just last year, the EU adopted a new directive on corporate sustainability reporting, known as CSDR. All large companies in the EU will now need to disclose data on the impact of their activities on people and the planet and any sustainability risks they are exposed to. This will make businesses more publicly accountable by obliging them to regularly disclose information on their societal and environmental impact. This aims to end greenwashing, strengthen the EU's social market economy, and lay the groundwork for sustainability reporting standards at a global level. These new rules address shortcomings in existing legislation on the disclosure of non-financial information, perceived as largely insufficient and unreliable. The CSRD introduces more detailed reporting requirements on companies' impact on the environment, human rights and social standards based on common criteria in line with the EU's climate goals. To ensure companies are providing reliable information, there will be independent auditing and certification. Financial and sustainability reporting will be on an equal footing, and investors will have comparable and reliable data. Digital access to sustainability information will also have to be guaranteed. And the new EU sustainability reporting requirements will apply to all large companies, whether listed on stock markets or not. And of course, non-EU companies with substantial activity in the EU, with a turnover over 150 million euro in the EU, they will also have to comply. Listed SMEs will also be covered, but they will have more time to adapt to the new rules. So for nearly 50,000 companies in the EU, collecting and sharing sustainability information will become the norm, compared to only about 11,700 companies covered by previous rules. So with this directive, we believe, and I believe, that Europe is showing the world that it is indeed possible to ensure finance, in the narrow sense of the word, does not govern in the entire global economy. We have a broader perspective. And the rules will start applying between 2024 and 2028. Countries such as my own, such as Ireland, which have had a supportive, progressive approach to encouraging CSR, are adapting to compliance as a result of 2 successive national action plans on CSR in Ireland, as I've said, and it has become normative for many companies, including SMEs, to act responsibly, as most companies do, of course, and report and highlight their CSR activities. And I do believe that customers demand this now too. Our citizens are demanding this. I understand that there are examples of CSR being embedded in corporate culture in Georgia. And of course, it's really important for Georgia to showcase this and build on it. And I think for enterprises, CSR provides important benefits in terms of risk management, cost savings, access to capital, customer relationships, HR management, sustainability of operations, ability to innovate, and eventually profit. So it's a good news story for businesses as well. For the EU economy, CSR makes companies more sustainable and innovative, which contributes to a more sustainable economy. For society, of course, CSR offers a set of values on which we can build a more cohesive society and on which we can base the transition to a new digital and green economic system, which of course we all have to do. Human rights are an increasingly important aspect of CSR, especially when it comes to businesses' global supply chains. The UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights define what companies and governments should do so businesses do not have a negative impact on human rights. And these guiding principles were endorsed by the Human Rights Council in 2011, stating that business enterprises are specialised organs of society, which require them to comply with all applicable laws and to respect human rights. Now, the EU then endorsed the UN Guiding Principles in its 2015 and 2020 action plans on human rights and democracy, and has committed to supporting their implementation. And the Commission is developing a framework for the implementation of these. I would say it's of the utmost importance to countries who want to develop their relationship with the EU further that they adopt a very progressive attitude and openness to EU laws, particularly when it comes to CSR. I understand that your forum now has a draft framework to develop CSR infrastructure. And I would certainly encourage and support you to keep the CSR Forum going, learning from each other and best practice around the world, and share that best practice to help make CSR more tangible and effective for businesses who have not yet prioritised it. In conclusion, I would say to you that the European Union stance on corporate social responsibility, it is evolving, it's an evolving framework, and a testament to our dedication to a better, more responsible future, both for businesses and society. As we navigate the complexities of the modern business landscape, we must remember that our policies must be dynamic, they must be adaptable, and rooted in ethical values. The commitment to responsible corporate behaviour, sustainable practices, and social inclusion should really be at the heart of every business strategy. Because it is through collective effort, open dialogue, and innovative solutions that we can pave the way for a future where CSR is not just seen as an obligation, but actually an inherent part of doing business. Europe aims to create a world where prosperity and conscience go hand in hand, driving positive change for generations to come. Once again, I want to thank you as MEP for Dublin in Ireland I want to thank you for asking me to speak at your forum, and I'd like to wish the forum continued success in your work on corporate social responsibility. Thank you all very much indeed.